It's a couple minutes early, but we might as well go ahead and get started. This is the 160 meter Old Friends AM version of the net, operating on 1864, usually on AM. Hopefully it works out for us tonight, although there's a lot of static from storms down in the Gulf, and all that stuff is heading up this way. The name here is Steve, N4LQ, Shelby, North Carolina, and I hope a few of you are able to copy okay. This is a AM net. We'll make a list of check-ins, and once we get a few people checked in, we can start a round table. So let's see how it works out tonight. If worse comes to worse, we can always switch over to lower sideband or something. I'm ready to go in case that happens. Let's see here. Anybody want to check in? This N4LQ. Give me a call.
Roar.
I heard like a R.
N4R.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I guess my relay is not fast enough. Hello, Brian. Sounding good. Good strong signal. Who else?
JPL.
I got John, W4JPL. And who else?
Everybody must be putting together Christmas presents and putting stickers on things. Decals.
Well, I thought I heard Glenn around here a while ago, but he was on sideband, and I don't know. Of course, he can copy us fine if he wants to check in. I can, using a separate receiver here, I can just change modes and listen. So, Glenn, if you're out there, go ahead and
give it a shot.
Okay, well, there you go. So what you up to over there, W4JPL?
You're talking to me. Okay, good evening, boys. W4JPL. 49 degrees. Didn't go out there. Hurt my back. Even that water heater yesterday. Starting to feel better now, though, thank God. Got a little bit of stuff done and went to church and did all that, so that was the extent of my day. Christmas, got my shotgun out and waiting for hot shots out and trying to get down my chimney. Over to you, Steve, W4JPL.
Did you say that you hurt your back?
Yeah, lifting a hot water heater.
Oh, that, yeah, I think you mentioned that. When did you mention that? Yesterday, I guess. So, yeah, you mentioned that yesterday. And, well, I remember the first time, the first house that we bought as a young married couple, the hot water heater was upstairs, and I dug the basement out, and we put the hot water heater downstairs. We moved it. Oh, that was a real thing. I didn't know much about anything, and I learned a lot really quick, plumbing and heating and all that kind of stuff. So, yep, they can be heavy, especially when they're full of crud. KN4R. Wait a minute. Let's see if anybody else wants to check in.
Whiskey Foxtrot to uniform.
Oh my, you're strong, Mayor. Go ahead.
I just came in. It's a little staticky. This is WSPO running the module setup, and Anyway, the 7300 and the L1200. I made the recording of the initial check-ins today on 3715, all the way up to when Dave was talking in the first round. And I'm going to upload it because you can hear how great it receives AM. I mean, everybody sounded like gangbusters. I mean, really. And good audio quality. I never heard a transceiver that has an internal speaker that sounds like that. Anyway, so I guess John is here. I didn't hear him. I only heard you calling initially. All right, so back to you. I don't know what the rotation is and who else is here. N40QWFTU.
Things are just kind of developing here. So, egg busters, huh? Wow, I think that's pretty strong. Well, I don't know. Doesn't take a lot to bust an egg, but I'm anxious to see what it sounds like from that high fidelity speaker. It's probably what, 1.5 inches or maybe 2 inches, but I know some of those that well, Brian had that German what was that thing? I'm trying to think of the Siemens. Yeah, I like the sound of that thing. It's an amazing little speaker in that thing. And that Rainbow receiver, it's got a nice sounding speaker too. Seemed like it had a really deep movement to the cone and a very large magnet on it. So somehow they managed to make a small speaker sound good. Maybe that's where Bose got his idea. Okay, Brian, it's your turn. KN4R, and then it goes to JPL, and then to F2U.
Steve, N4LQ in the group, KN4R. Good evening, John and Mir. Sounding good, and very good, Mir, on your transceiver, sounding great on AM. That's great. And John, you sound like death warmed over there, and I'm sorry you hurt your back, so that you didn't really need that on top of everything else you had, but I am glad you're ready for Christmas. So we're ready here as well. We got family coming over to eat tomorrow, so got the table set up and all that. My wife's been cooking all day long, and we got to get up early and put the turkey in and put the ham in and all that. So we got it under control, and I've already vacuumed the house a couple times too. So anyway, that's the way it is here. Let's see, today I worked out in the yard. It was a really nice day, and just cleaned up outside, but no radio, but maybe sometime soon here after Christmas. So W4JPL, take it. KN4R.
Okay, KN4R in the group, W4JPL. Well, like I said, I didn't do a lot today. And hello, Mr. Mir. I hope you're doing all right today. I didn't get a lot done today. Did go to church. That's number one on the list of things to do. I saw QRZ, a guy's got a Johnson Invader 2000 for sale. He lives in Texas, but he's going to drive up to Pennsylvania in a week or month or something, and he could meet somebody somewhere. And I thought about it for about 15 minutes, and I said, nah, I'll keep my Johnson 500. The Invader 2000 apparently is not a good AM read unless you do extensive modifications to it, so I'm happy with my beautiful 500. So just be happy with that, no problem. I had something else on my 5G brain, but it's gone already, so I'll get it next turn around. Over to you, Mir. WF2U, W4JPL.
Yeah, W4JPL. And the group that says WF2U. Yeah, interesting. The QRN the static is really up there. I'm getting static crashes up to S9, which is very rare here. I haven't looked at the lightning map, but there must be something along the coast or something, because it's really killing any signal that is below S9. So I had a little bit of a difficulty with your signal, John. When you occasionally went up to about 5 dB over S9, then I didn't have any problems, and then sometimes you slipped under 9, which normally would be absolutely perfect copy, but it's just like a pain in the ears, and hard to copy. And the same with Brian also. Sometimes you went up, Brian, to about 10 over 9. It was just fine, and anything under S9 or so was very, very hard to copy. So that's the situation. That's the story here. Tomorrow we're going to rest a little bit. Today we did a lot of leaf blowing, and then I did lawn sweeping because there were a lot of leaves still there, and I went I went a few rounds of lawn sweeping with a sweeper behind the lawn tractor, and the XYL was blowing the leaves into certain areas where I picked it up, and so it was not much fun except for the 4 o'clock net, and I was just very, very happy to take a break. And after the net, I continued another hour or so with taking care of the lawn and disposing of piles of leaves. So that's in a nutshell here. So I don't know who it goes to. I assume it goes to Steve again. So N4LQ, WF2U.
Okay, WF2U, N4LQ. Anybody else out there that would like to join us, call now. Well, we keep trying. Let's see, did I say I'm on the AF-67 tonight? That's the first time for it on AM on 160 at least. And the U104 mic, the AL82 amplifier, and let's see, 275 watts carrier power. And that's about right. Really don't want to run much more than that anyway. Got to take it easy on the old, the new Big Al. So, well, let's see. John, on the Invader 2000, is that something you want, or are you just looking at it? I saw a picture of it here, just looked it up, just to bring back some memories. That's a powerful sideband transmitter, I guess, mostly. It still didn't have 160 on it. I guess that had not come back yet. Unfortunately, yeah, you were talking the other day about some guy in Corbin, Kentucky that had stage 4 cancer and all kinds of stuff for sale. And I finally, that popped up on my Facebook for some reason. And I thought, I know this guy, and I don't think I'd want to do business with him. I know a little bit about him, and he's, boy, you talk about a reputation. You want to look him up on QTH. There's about 5 pages of this thread is just huge. And Martin is his name, and he's British. But he lived up not too far from us, up there in Kentucky, and So he's changed his call sign and the name of his business. I think they threw him off eBay, but he says he wasn't thrown off eBay, and he argues that, and he got in trouble with the IRS, and I mean he sold thousands and thousands of pieces of ham equipment, and nobody could figure out where he got it all. And he always advertised it with extremely flowery advertising. It was just over the top, you know, stuff like, "This belonged to a dear friend of mine who recently passed away, and it is so flawless and operates perfectly." And he would take a picture of it, and it would, whatever it is, would be sitting on red velvet, always on red velvet. So a bunch of us started calling him Mr. Red Velvet. Anyway, he disappeared off eBay and got his own website called Radio Mart, and it's now defunct. I don't know what happened to it. So, don't know about the cancer thing. You just never know. Anyway, go ahead, Brian. Let's see if anybody else wants to check in and kind of drag your feet. KN4R, N4LQ.
Hey, nothing heard. N4LQ in the group, KN4R. Very good, Steve. Well, while you were talking about Martin, I wrote down, was Martin the guy with the red velvet tablecloth? So I remember Martin, and yeah, he was quite a character, quite a big presence on eBay there for a long time. So whatever. But hey, John, on the Johnson Invader, I had one for a couple of weeks. And the power supply reminded me of the 500 power supply. It still had those, unbalanced small handles. Seemed like it was the same kind of deal. Might have been the same footprint, but I never fired it up. And I think you should. I agree with you. You should be happy with your Johnson 500. I saw where one fella out in the Midwest has one for sale. Really nice one, he says, for, I think he's asking $3K or something. So maybe somebody out there will buy it. So anyway, very interesting. Let's see. And Mir, very good on your ICM 600. That sounds terrific. So, lawn sweeping. I was doing the same thing today, only with my blower. The funny thing is, when I was using my electric blower, I looked down at my Apple Watch, and it said that any sounds higher than 90 dB could hurt your ears permanently. So I'm assuming that's what it was hearing. So it is a pretty powerful electric leaf blower. So, but it's variable speed, so maybe I can slow it down or something. So over to you, John. W4JPL in the group, KN4R.
Okay, KN4R in the group W4JPL. That's a little bit too much. I turned it up a little bit for Mir, but I think that's a little bit too much fun for this amplifier. Cut it down there about there, 150 watts or something it's peaking up to. All right, fine business. Radio Mart, I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah, I would touch that with a barge pole. Yeah, no, well, like I said, the guy probably nothing wrong with the guy. He's just using a sob story as a way to sell gear. So, that's a shame. And I'm not really looking for an Invader, or an Invader 2000. I just happened to see it. I saw it, rather, and it was $1,500. It's supposedly it's mint, and the guy's kind of, he can meet you somewhere to deliver it up from Texas. I researched it a little bit. It does single sideband with a carrier, so it probably sounds like crap anyway on AM. And there's another guy that, you can buy it, but to make it work on AM, you got to do extensive modifications to it. I'm like, you know what, I'm good. I'm not modifying a rig like that, just so I can have it. So that's the end of that. Don't want one. And as a joke, on eBay, this guy's still got this SBE33 transceiver. It says, it's Cherry, new in box, he claims. And for $1,900, that could be yours. I don't even know if what he charges you to ship it. Oh, he'll ship it. If you pay $1,900 for this thing, what a joke. There was a guy at Shelby that had a nice one for sale, and it started at $900. I think it was $900, and by the time we were going to leave, I probably could have bought that thing for $150, but it's got to be the world's ugliest radio, and that's the only reason I buy it, to put it up on the shelf and say that is the world's ugliest radio. But I got enough crap here, so WF2U, W4JPL.
W4JPL, this is WF2U. Well, I have to say I'm sorry, but I could barely copy 20% of what you said because of the static. I looked at my app on the smartphone, the lightning detector, and there are zillions of thunderstorms over the Gulf of Mexico and southern Louisiana, just on the coast, and I think that's what we're hearing because nothing else is around. But it's pretty nasty, and I'll try to apply a noise blanker as soon as Steve picks it up. But Steve is so strong that it really doesn't bother me. Again, the static crashes are up to S9 here, so that's the problem. I had difficulties copying Brian as well. I got maybe 50%. So let's see. Okay, Steve, pick it up, and in the meantime, I'm going to adjust the noise blanker. So see if it helps. N4LQ, WF2U.
No, WF2U, N4LQ. Possible solution is to go to YouTube and get my channel. I've got it live streaming. If you can put up with a 10-second delay, you're going to hear everybody just fine. So that's an alternative. Mir, let's see. Everybody's coming in here real strong, and John, you're blasting in here real good. And I heard the static, but you guys are overriding it quite well. And yeah, there's a bunch of storms down there. They'll probably get a tornado or something. I hope not, but who knows? Let's see. I was looking at the schematic for a Invader 2000. I just kind of interested. The claim is was it 500 watts input on AM? So that's not plate modulated though. It's got a pair of PL 175 tubes in the final, and so I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how they're modulating this thing. It's probably just your typical deal where they unbalance the sideband part, send the carrier in, and so you get low-level modulation. That wouldn't sound any good. I had a Invader, just a plain Invader for a while. It's been several years ago at the other house, and I couldn't wait to get rid of it. So it just seemed finicky, and I don't know, they're just old sideband transmitters are something you just generally don't want to use because you're going to drift like crazy, and nobody's going to want to talk to you under those circumstances. AM, you can get by with murder. You know, you can drift and chirp and all the bad things that go with CW and sideband, and nobody will notice it. So, I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Leaf blowing was something I did today. I think I mentioned that this afternoon. I just got this wild hair and went out there, and I've got a nice big heavy extension cord. It's 100 foot, and it's so heavy it doesn't drop the voltage at all on that leaf blower. It's a Toro. I've had it for years. That thing is powerful, and I had my driveway cleaned off in no time. The first thing I do is try to blow the garage out with the car still in it, which is always fun, and then the driveway, and then I went down around the other side of the driveway and did that, and then I drug the cord all the way around the house and got the deck on the back of the house. But yeah, I've got a battery-powered leaf blower, and it's okay for little stuff, you know, like the garage or something like that. But it doesn't work near as good as this the real thing. And I think you got a bigger one, Brian. You got a battery-powered that's probably good enough. What's that thing, an Ego, that you get them at Lowe's or something like that? That might work. I don't know. But this thing, you have to hold on to it. It'll blow out of your hand. Okay, so back to you. Let me do an official listen here and see if anybody wants to check in. This is N4LQ. I guess not. KN4R, N4LQ.
LQ in the group, KN4R, very good. And very good on your AC-powered leaf blower. Yeah, my Ego's pretty good. It's I've got 3 batteries and 2 chargers, so and I use the same battery with my really mean edger, you know, trimmer. So it's working out good for me, and but it's plenty powerful. I don't need anything any stronger. I can blow leaves right out of the yard or whatever. So and John, Roger on the SB3033. If I'm not mistaken, is that the one that's kind of like a purple color, lavender, and some other color? If so, that is like the ugliest radio I can remember seeing.
Pretty powerful.
I think the SB32 actually had Nixie tube, and I think it's quite a rare beast and very desirable. But the 33 and then the 34. You know, they just, I don't know who their industrial designer was, but it was pretty awful looking radios. So, I don't know. I guess that's why they went, out of business. So, that's all I got. So, over to you, John. W4JPL, KN4R.
Hey, oh, I gotta put the power on. Hold on a second. Well, hello. We are KN4R and Group W4JPL. All right, fine business. Yeah, the SB33 had a ugly blue grill on it for the speaker. It was just atrocious. So, and supposedly that Invader that's on QRZ's got, I think he said a pair of 4-400s in the file. And that's nice and all, but like I said, I'm into AM, so as far as leaf blowers are concerned, my wife's son, Maggie's son, was over here yesterday helping us, and he does it commercially. It's a side job, and he had this wonderful machine, a zero turn, that he could hook a blower up to it. And man, that thing was doing all kinds of blowing leaves this way, the other. He cleaned the whole yard. He burned out. All 5 acres in about now, in less than an hour. I was like, I gotta have one of these things. I said, how much do you think they cost? He says, well, if you want one like this, it's $26,000. I'm like, you know what? I'm good. That's a little bit too much for me. I won't live long enough to pay for that, not just clearing out my property. One interesting thing I'm going to do tomorrow morning, because my daughter's family has COVID, so we can't get together tomorrow, but I think I'm going to pop over there in the morning. And I got this elf outfit. I'll have to get Maggie to take a picture of it and send it to you. So I'm going to dress up as the elf and go over there and bang on the door there and leave a couple presents on the door for my little angels. I hope you can hear me, Mir. I know you're having trouble tonight. WF2U, W4JPL.
W4JPL, WF2U. Well, I'm sorry again. Except for a few words, I couldn't hear anything. And I'll do what Steve suggested that I'll go over to the live streaming of his receiver to copy better. And it's interesting that I get more static. I mean, I have more noise than Steve. I usually don't have any natural noise here except for lightning static. If there is something like that, because I have no electrical noises here whatsoever, and you know, unless it's atmospheric, nothing interferes with reception here. But I have to do it after I finish uploading. I took that video that I took in the beginning of the old Transnet, and I'm uploading it to the server so I can send a copy up to Dropbox so I can share it. So while I'm sitting here, it's taking the bandwidth, and I don't want to interrupt anything because I have a Wi-Fi access point here in the shack that connects to my Wi-Fi router in the house wirelessly, but the bandwidth is pretty limited because the signal is not that strong. Here it's a little far, so I have to wait until it finishes uploading, which is another, according to this, it's another 11 minutes or so. It's a 5-minute long video, but anyway, so let's see what happens. In the meantime, I'm waiting, I'm looking at the tracking. Tuesday, I'm supposed to get the JRC marine transceiver, and I'm pretty sure that it's pretty, the circuit is pretty close to those very expensive JRC transceivers, the JST something or other, and this is the JSB 169 GM. At least it has CW. It has a T-jack in the back and a CW mode, and it goes officially down to 1.6 megahertz. So probably I'll have AM working on there at that 160, unlike the SciComm. So see how it works. Hey, when I get it, should be the same 150 watts and upper sideband, lower sideband, AME, and CW. I think it has an extra filter also, and that was pretty cheap as well. Anyway, so back to you there, Steve. N4LQ, this is WFTU.
Anybody else want to check in tonight? Okay, well, let me ask you how this AF-67 sounds. Does it sound about like the Valiant that it's been sounding, or does it sound better or worse or no different? Mir, what do you think?
Sounds a little better than the Valiant.
Okay, well, that's really no surprise, I guess. I don't know what the difference is, but of course the amplifier is a difference. I don't know, a little more power, I guess that helps some. Well, now, Mir, in case you missed, it sounds like you missed everything John said, so I'll repeat it. He bought his $26,000 zero-turn mower, and he's putting the Johnson Invader on it with a pair of 4-400s dressing up in an elf suit and riding it over to his daughter's house to cut the grass. I think that's about right. Is that right, John? I think I got that right. Oh, man. That reminds me of my beloved grasshopper mower. I love that thing. I bought it. It's a zero turn. I bought it brand new in 2001, and it's still going. I had to replace the engine the year after I got it because it was my fault. I changed the oil filter, and I put the new one on, and I didn't remove the gasket from the old filter. It's stuck on the engine, so I ended up with two gaskets between the filter and the engine. And I started it up and hopped on there and took off, and didn't realize it was blowing oil out that gasket. And within just a minute or two, the engine locked up. That was it for that engine. So after replacing that engine, I was a lot more careful. I'd double check every time I changed that crazy filter. But it blows stuff real hard too. I can, one pass blow the whole driveway off. It's got a real powerful, it's nothing special. It's just the regular chute that's on it. But I'm able to blow stuff out and grind stuff up. And I haven't had to rake leaves since I've had that thing. And that's a good thing. And anyway, yeah, I don't think you want that Invader, but you can't beat the 500, that's for sure. Those things just about always sound great. Anyway, let's hope Mir can get that audio, or that, I guess it's an audio file, or video. I guess it'll be video. Yeah, get that uploaded. My upload speed is nothing to write home about. I just got regular cable here, and it's only 12 meg, I think. Yeah, upload. And I got 400 download, but it's real slow on the upload side. Of course, I could go to the next level if I wanted to pay all that money and get faster upload. I guess if I had to do videos or something like that, like Zoom for work, or heaven forbid work, I haven't done that for a while. So over to you, Brian. KN4. Oh, by the way, I think I'm just going to let this idea about buying a big transmitter go. I've just had a weak moment, I guess. That 5-foot thing, that Rhodes and Schwartz, that does sound nice. I mean, it's a beautiful piece of equipment, but there's absolutely no place to put it. I could clean out some area in this room next to me, but then I couldn't see it, so I don't know what good that would do me. Anyway, but I'd be glad to help you with that Globe Champ if you want to. I'm almost afraid to. That thing was seemed like it's got it in for me or something. It's a hard thing to work on and keep working. KN4R, N4LQ.
Q in the group, KN4R. Well, it works a lot better if you just leave it out of the case, but I worry about the grandkids, and I unplug it every time they're coming over and all that, because they always come up in my room, and I have a little storage area, and they like to use that as their little clubhouse and all that, so they're buzzing back and forth, but no problem. Let's see, and very good, John, on the elf outfit. Yeah, please have Maggie send us a picture, and maybe you will get an SBE-33 from Santa tonight, John. You've been pretty good, I guess. And Mir's getting his JRC transceiver a couple of days late, but that's okay, and all that. So, old Martin's, Mr. Red Velvet. Man, he used to be like the biggest sales guy ham radio sales guy on eBay. I mean, it's like he had all sorts of stuff listed. So, pretty crazy. So, and he's still out there doing that kind of thing. So, Look, I'm going to go ahead and say 73s. I've enjoyed it. You guys take care. Have a wonderful evening. Hope Santa comes your way. And have a wonderful day tomorrow as well. And hope to talk to you Tuesday morning, if not sooner. So over to you, Mir. WF2U in the group. KN4R. 73.
Oh, 73, Brian. KN4R, WF2U. Yeah, very good. And what did I want to say? Yeah, it's almost uploaded. I think there is another 2.5 minutes, and then I'll go over to the to your live stream, Steve. And when I go in the house, I'll upload it to Dropbox and send you. I'll send it to you too, Brian. The recording that I did from the ICM600 of the net call and the check-ins. About 5 minutes worth of video of the right off the transceiver speaker, and it's really, everybody sounded great today, and the JRC is coming. And then the day after, it's a Furuno transceiver, similar, somewhat different. So now I have basically the triad, and I found that Kenwood made one similar too. But I looked at the specs. It's much more awkward to use on the handbands. It needs a lot of other work to do, and so I'm not getting one of those. The Furuno and the JRC, I don't have to do any. I don't have to touch it. It works right off the bat on all the frequencies, and don't have to make any kind of programming to enable a lower sideband, which I had to do with this one. It's like a service program to enable it. And so that should be really fun, and they truly go down to 160. Anyway, let's see. I still have time, 20 minutes. Anyway, good night, Brian, and I assume John signed off because I didn't hear him at all. So 73, Brian. Take care, and Merry Christmas again, and maybe we'll catch up with you tomorrow night. Have fun. Let's see. KN4R, if you want to do a final, or maybe you've gone already. If not, then Steve, it's yours. So this is WF2U standing by.
I'm not sure what happened. Go ahead, W4JPL, N4LQ.
Nobody loves me anymore, W4JPL. Well, Steve, number one, please save me some of that eggnog you're drinking. Sounds like it's wonderful. And my static level here is 20/9, but I'm still hearing you're no problem. Let's see, I had a JRC receiver for a few years, a 515. Nice receiver. I just got tired of it and eventually got rid of it. So I'm going to jump out of here, Steve. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas morning, and maybe I'll catch you tomorrow morning on 3885. 73, let's have a good night, and say goodbye to Mir for me. W4JPL.
All right, will do. Sorry about the confusion there. You have a good one, and don't get carried away with that elf outfit. I don't want you arrested. We'll see you later, John. And by the way, before you go, are you going to be on the air in the morning?
Yes.
Wonderful. All right. Well, I plan on being on the net in the morning, the over the hill outfit. So far nothing has deterred me. Anyway, don't you wish we could be nice to each other 365 days out of the year? Drive each other crazy, wishing each other a happy. So, Mir, I guess you got some more time, and that's good. And I'll be anxious to see how this works out. So you have uploaded it. I guess you've uploaded it to your computer, and then you're uploading it to Dropbox, and then you're sending out links to it or something. WF2U, N4LQ.
LQ, WF2U. Yeah, I'm doing it remotely because I can get into my Windows server from here through Wi-Fi. So I put a copy of that from my cell phone. I put one in my radio folder on my server, and now I'll grab that one and upload it to Dropbox. And then when it's all uploaded, that should take a little bit. Then it would. Then I'll send you the link to it.
Well, that sounds like a good plan, I think. Well, get ready for some rain. I don't know what your prediction down there is, but they're saying 1.56 inches tomorrow, and then tomorrow night, Tuesday, then Tuesday, 0.91. So that adds up to 2.47, right at 2.5 inches predicted. Usually it goes down as time goes on, but this time it's gone up, 100% chance. And from the radar, it looks like we're going to get it.
Yeah, okay, I'll look at it later because right now it's uploading to Dropbox, so I can monitor the progress. And according to this, it's going to take about 10 minutes.
Roger. Okay. Well, I think I'll give this thing a rest then. Looks like the Elmac worked out pretty good. It's amazing how stable this thing is. It just drifted up frequency a few cycles. I mean, it's staying right on it. An old piece of junk. I think this would be my recommendation for anybody wanting to get on 160. Now, I did use an attenuator, 3 dB attenuator. It's funny because coming out of it, I had like 26 watts or something. I couldn't get the power down below about 21 watts, and that's too much to drive the amplifier. So I stuck the dummy load and the T on there to split the power. Well, that dropped it down to 6 watts. Well, that's kind of weird. So it was too low. So I dug out my 3 dB attenuator, and that set it at about 12 watts, which is just perfect. But I can't figure out what the deal. Maybe the output impedance of this thing isn't really 50 ohms. That's what I suspect.
It's possible. If you recall, I think it's a Viking 2. Or something else. I know that. Oh, okay. Also, another transmitter that I forgot. That everything is into 50 ohms, but they specify something like 300 ohms on 160. So you have to feed it with a separate ladder line if you're going on 160. So I don't know. I forgot to look whether the AF-67 is like that. I forgot. I have to pull out the manual, but I know that there are a couple of transmitters are like that. From the 60s, 50s. Anyway, what another thing that I wanted to. Oh yeah, if you want to look up the transceiver that is on the way, it's a JSB Juliet Sierra Bravo 197. No, sorry. 196 George Mike. JSB 196 GM. That's the transceiver that I'm getting. You can look at the specs on it.
196 George Mike. I got it. All right, I'll take a look at that. I'm going to bring up the manual for this Elmac and see if it mentions anything about the antenna, because there's got to be something ain't right about it. I don't know about the now I've got the Viking 1 setting here, and it's got a switch on the front for 160. It says in and out. I think that kicks in it may be a coil, a bit more coil, or maybe a capacitor. Probably a capacitor, I don't know, but you're supposed to flip that. But of course the Pi network, it's got a huge range on it, so I don't know what this thing has. This thing's got the smallest coil I ever saw for 160. The windings are literally so tight, I don't think you could get a piece of notebook paper in between the turns. That's how tight it is. And a lot of them get tore up. So, I don't know. I'll probably pick up another couple of these and fix them up for people and see if I can get some more activity on here. That's one way of doing it, is if people have a rig. Of course, they can always use the rice box, but it's more fun to run the oldies. At least that's the way I feel about it. Yeah, okay. We'll take a look at your JRC. And of course, your 7300. That's hard to beat when it comes to audio. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, the 7300 is good audio-wise, but I have to say that the audio directly out of the speaker on the M600 sounds better than the audio from the 7300 and a nice bookshelf speaker, which is a BOS. It's a Bose, yeah, it's a Bose BOSE, Bose bookshelf speaker, and I swear the other one sounds better.
Oh, you mean a Bose?
Yep.
Yeah, Mr. Bose. You know, I always wondered about that outfit. I've listened. Back in the what was it? The 90s, I guess, late 80s, 90s. They were really popular, and they really pushed them at these stores. But I never really thought they sounded all that great, really. And the concept was you had satellite speakers, and they would fit in the palm of your hand. They were just like little 2-inch speakers that were supposed to cover the mids and the highs, and then this little dinky-looking subwoofer that you stuck down on the floor, and that was supposed to be the last word in audio. But I listened to some of those, and well, I mean, considering how small they were, they sounded good, but I never was all that impressed. I think Bose was more than anything just a good salesman. N4LQ.
WFW, let's see. This is 10-inch tall. It has two speakers in it, a bigger, a woofer, sort of. How wide is it? Like 6 inches wide. And about 10 inches deep. Box. That's a bookshelf speaker, and it has a tweeter in it, and the other one which is the larger, I guess mid-range and low-range. But I have a pair of these that I picked up at a thrift shop. I always look for these speakers at thrift shops, and it did not come with a subwoofer, so that's by itself. And it usually sounds great, but for some reason I like the AM reception, the way it sounded out of this marine junk.
Yeah, well, this speaker probably optimizes the vocal range, and it's right in front of your face, and it's just blasting you with clear vocal range audio. I found the manual here on the AF-67. It doesn't mention anything about 160. It does say the following type of antennas can be directly fed from the AF-67 without an antenna tuner, and it mentions the center-fed half-wave dipole, the folded half-wave dipole, parasitic beams, vertical quarter wave ground planes, vertical half-wave dipole center-fed, any antenna with a low impedance untuned line. So pretty well covers everything. No mention of 160. So I don't know. I guess there were people using 160 mobile. Boy, what a life that would be, huh?
Yeah, those big buck catchers on the car.
Yeah, big bug catcher. Yeah, I don't know. I guess if you lived out in the Midwest somewhere, away from the shore, where all that Lauren activity was, maybe you could have used it.
Yeah, I guess. I've seen photos of those big buck catchers. But anyway, so that was funny that with John and the transmitter there on the zero turn. We used to have a zero turn, but we sold it back to John Deere because it didn't work. It didn't work out because we have a lot of hills and slopes and everything. A lot of times, in certain places, you would lose control. It would just flip down, and you can't steer it. You just have to straighten out in the direction of the slope and go up and down instead of trying to keep that same line that you did in the straightaway. It was a real pain in the neck, and so we got the John Deere X350, which is a four-wheel steering. It's not zero turn, but basically you can make very, very, very tight turns with it.
Yeah, that'll do it. Sounds okay. That John Deere you're talking about, zero turn, did it have like a steering wheel instead of the levers?
Yeah, it had the steering wheel. It was the pit.
Yep. Because back when I was shopping for one, I had to expose myself to all the different brands, and I had already fallen in love with the Grasshopper several years before that, but I didn't have a place to use it. Well, when we moved out to this new house, we had 3 acres of grass, and it had some steep places. I mean, it was, well, mostly sloping, one way or the other, you know. So the John Deere was one of them, and it had that steering wheel, and the guy brought it out, the dealership did, for me to try out, and I had the same trouble you did. It just wanted to go down a hill, and then they brought another one out, Dixie Chopper. Yeah, the Dixie Chopper, and that was real popular around that part of Kentucky. Well, that was the same way. I fought that thing trying to stay going in a straight line all the time. I didn't like it. So then he brought out a Grasshopper, and man, I just took out across the yard, and I got it with the tractor tires on it. So it's got the big, not knobby turf tires, but regular, you know, like plow type tires on it. And you got to be kind of careful. If you got a real neat lawn, you don't want to make a real sudden turn, because it can tear the grass up. But I've gotten good enough at it that I can control it, and I don't do that except every now and then. But man, I go up and down these hills with that thing. It's just a pleasure. So it sounds like, of course, you got to mow that big field, so you need a regular tractor for that. WF2U and 4LQ.
4LQ, WF2U. Yeah, because we are only using the lawn tractor with a mower just around the house and next to the driveway. But the pastures themselves I do with the big tractor is the 33 horsepower New Holland with the bush hoggle on the PTO and all that. So that's what I use. I discovered actually a fuel leak, and I don't know where it's coming from. I hope it's not the hole in the fuel tank, because where it's parked, every time I park it, there is a little bit of a stain of a diesel stain underneath, and I see some drops. So I have to open it up in a nice warmish day when I'm not freezing my fingers off with wrenches outdoors, and I have to just get into the engine compartment and see if any of the hoses and fuel pipes and connections and whatnot, if everything is tight. And if not, I have to find out what the heck is leaking.
Well, let's hope it's not too serious. And speaking of that, I need to get off here and run up the hall for a few minutes anyway. So I'll let you go finish up on your computer work there.
Okay, very good. 73. Steve, Merry Christmas again. Have fun with the family, and don't overeat. And take care. I'll be on tomorrow night, I'm sure, and we'll finish uploading that thing, and then I'll send you the link. And so that's about it. So have a good night, 73. And 4LQ, this is WF2U Clear. Good night.
Okay. It's been like talking on the phone, man. I mean, the audio is just beautiful, and I love this receiver. You know, it's you'll hear what you sound like and what John sounds like. This is the first receiver I've had where the noise reduction is just absolutely amazing. It just totally gets rid of all the static and all that stuff. We'll see you later, maybe tomorrow night or Tuesday morning. WF2U, N4LQ, be clear.
Is that the malachite that you're receiving on?
No, this is the RX 888.
Okay, take care. Good night, WF2U, clear.